What's up? Are you coming or not? We are ready to go. This is going to be amazing. You need to make sure you are in the room at the Owning It and Living It experience November 1st through 3rd in Atlanta, Georgia. Don't worry about next year. Come this year. This year, I am giving away a fully renovated house, and I'm telling you right now that I'm not giving away one next year. Not only will you learn from me, you'll learn from so many amazing people in the industry. Henry Washington, Kendra Barnes, Jackie and Preston Perry, Lecrae Moore, Felipe, Ingrid, Sarah. You gotta be in the room though. This is the perfect conference to merge Black and brown culture with real estate knowledge. We are going to be dancing to Joanna and learning all about real estate. You're gonna actually learn some specific strategies that's gonna help you scale to the next level. Go ahead, go to the link below and grab your ticket today.
We have a lot of chatter in our heads, and sometimes we need to decrease the chatter. One of the ways to even develop a growth mindset is to decrease the chatter by being mindful.
A person's wealth is determined by their assets, investments, and things that they own. I say true wealth is about how you live it. Your girl is back. Welcome to season 2 of Wealth Within Reach. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Wealth Within Reach. And as always, I have a good conversation for you guys today. I am excited, so excited to introduce to you one of my closest friends. She is a therapist. She's a mindset coach. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a homeschool mom. Look at this. So I'm introducing y'all to a whole new group of people who you never would have thought do this. Not only that, she is a client of the Owning It, Living It community and just a good friend, Deana Hamilton. And she is here to help us talk about our belief system and our mindset, and really can help us to prepare ourselves for the success that we are going to achieve with building wealth. Thank you so much for being here today, friend.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You look good.
Thank you, you too.
I see you. Okay,
Yes.
so tell the people, what exactly do you do?
Well, I am a holistic psychotherapist, but you can say therapist.
Okay.
As well as a relationship and emotional wellness coach.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so
Yes.
break down, what does all that mean?
Okay.
You're highly degreed.
Yeah, and we didn't even mention sex therapists.
Yes. Ooh, I have been able to personally benefit from that, but go ahead.
Yes. So what that means is I have credentials where I was trained in. I got my Master's of Arts in Marriage and Family Therapy. I am a licensed professional counselor, and I am a certified coach. So I went through all the training and stuff to do coaching. So I wanted to be able to bridge the gap.
I love that. So what is the difference between therapy and coaching, like working with a therapist and a coach?
Yeah. So in short, and I'll break it down. So in short, one does a lot of reflections and they deal with the why, and the other one deals with the how.
Ooh, that's good.
So in short, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so a therapist is going to help you identify, increase awareness. They're going to be very concerned about your emotional wellness and all of that. They also deal with mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, personality disorders, all of that. And they're going to help you process and, work towards better behavioral management.
Yes. No, that's so good.
Yes.
So if you're here, you're wondering, again, why are we having this conversation about mindset, about therapy? And one of the things I've realized is, folks really don't, especially Black and brown people, we have a hard time really believing that we can do the things that I'm talking about. Like, I remember there was a couple I was talking to, and she was like, Erica, listening to you actually helped us to be able to buy our first house. And I've sent my husband so much of your content because he really doesn't believe that we can do it. Yeah. So how much does belief play a role in your investing journey?
Oh, it's pivotal.
Wow. Why is it pivotal?
It's pivotal because your brain hears what you say, and when you believe something, then you're more likely to achieve it.
Yeah.
But if you're telling your brain, oh, I can't, and you have limited thoughts and stuff like that, then you're not going to achieve what you set out to achieve.
Wow.
Because the brain is going to be like, okay, we need to make sure like what she's saying happens.
So, that's good. Yeah. So what are some like common limiting beliefs that you hear from your clients?
Oh gosh.
Just in general. It doesn't even have to be about real estate.
A lot. Look, I even suffered from limiting beliefs.
Well,
I think we all do, you know, but clients is like, oh, this is too much. I don't know if, somebody else is doing it. I can't do it. What if I fail? I'm like, what if you do fail? You know, they'll say things like, I don't know if I can achieve what I actually see. So they are some of the things. Someone else did it. And because someone else did it and these were their results, I think these are going to be my results too as well. Or it's just outside of my understanding. Like I can't even picture it.
Yeah. How, like, what limiting beliefs did you have? Because we're going to infuse like real estate in this conversation a little bit too. Because it's like such a tangible example. And like, for example, I mean, we've been friends for a really long time. And I remember going over to y'all's house multiple times. Like, can you come over here and help me? We think we want to do this. We aren't sure. Like, looking back, what were some limiting beliefs that you were thinking that were kind of like that were holding you back from taking the leap and investing?
Well, one, that house was almost my dream house. And so I had a growth mindset in the fact that I knew what I wanted, and I was able to be like, okay, I want the house on the hill. I want it in Westview / West End. Like, I knew that from y'all. So I already knew that, and I knew that it was tangible. You know? But when it was time to actually sell or move forward or get multiple homes, that was like, okay, I don't think I've ever seen anybody that looks like me do this before. And so that was significant. And it wasn't just me. So I got a whole other person, you know, that I got to consult with. And sometimes you and your spouse aren't on the same, you know, page all the time. And so we had to get on the same page, and it took a couple of years. You know, the other thing is we had the mindset like, okay, the resources. I don't know if all the resources are going to be there, or I don't know if I can do this. I don't know what.
I don't have enough money.
I don't have enough money.
I can't afford
I don't know what
it
it looks like. I can't afford it. And it wasn't until you said like, oh, you can get funding here and you can do this. And then you got the BRRRR, and then you got the step up. And I was like, step up, you know? And then I was like, this is obtainable. This is possible. And so it took a while.
Are you tired of wasting so much time pulling data, reviewing comps, and trying to put together the financing to do your next deal? Guess what? You don't have to do all that. Backflip helps you to analyze properties instantly, helps you to pull high quality comps. You can actually apply for loans directly through the app while also choosing your best investment strategy. All you have to do is download the free Backflip app now and go on your way to make smarter, faster, and more profitable decisions today.
So let me tell you what happened. Quick story. In the West End, you know, they do a lot of shooting of movies and stuff, right? And so I was like, I need some of that movie money. Because I'm like, let me get this multiple streams of income here, you know? And so I was like, okay, I need this movie money. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start saying yes to things, and I'm going to open myself up to new possibilities, right? And we needed the money. And so I said that, and I lie to you not. The next week, you know what was in the mail?
What?
A letter. So she just put it, this lady came by the house and she put a letter in the mailbox. And I was like, well, on the mailbox, you can't actually put it in the mailbox. And I was like, what is this? And it was from like Hulu and Disney.
Wow.
And they were interested in shooting an episode at my house. And I was like, oh man, look at God. And this is during COVID. This is during COVID. And so I was like, okay, that combined with the stuff that you have already been like teaching us and showing us, it was like, okay, I don't have to necessarily sell this house because I had an emotional attachment to the home. So going back into this was almost my dream house. My kids were here. You know how many years we've been fixing up that house ourselves. And so there was like an emotional attachment to that house. It's like, oh, well, what if, you know, things happen, and what if I can't get a
Yes.
house that looks like this anymore?
Yep.
What if somebody comes up and I could have made a lot of money with this house? It was just a whole lot of what ifs, and that's
Yeah.
not a safe space to live.
Wow.
Especially if your mindset is fixed and
Mm-hmm.
it's like what if, and all those what ifs are negative.
Oh, that's
And
good.
so we had to shift, and was like, well, once I saw examples, I was like, well, what if we do make the money? What if we're able to, get this movie deal, or this episode, this contract with
Yeah.
Hulu or
Yeah.
Disney? What if this happens? What if they picked us? When I moved into the what if,
Yeah.
on the positive side, man,
Things
they
start to
came. It was
happen.
50 people in my house.
Yeah.
They all came, producers, all of them that came in my house. And they came to just kind of check and see and get the feel.
Yeah.
And because I was open to it, I called the lady, and she was like, "Can we come this week?" They came, and I was like, "What if this happens?"
Yes.
And girl, when
And
I
it
tell you,
happened. I remember y'all was out
it happened.
hanging out. I was like, what kind of money y'all got going on over there? I remember.
Erica,
Yeah.
when you open yourself up to possibilities,
Wow.
this showed us we didn't have to sell the house.
Yeah.
But we can actually do some of the stuff that we talked about, like
Yes.
fix up the house. We
Yes.
can make the other side of the house,
Yes.
like a short term or apartment.
Yes.
Inside, we can do a bunch of other stuff, and we can rent out the rooms.
Yes.
I didn't know you could rent out rooms until
Yeah.
you started talking about that. So I'm a note taker, and
Yeah.
so when I hear stuff, I'm like, oh,
Yes. And
okay.
you're like, okay, let me put that
let
somewhere.
me put that. Yes.
So I love, okay, so you originally were in this fixed mindset that kind of went negative from time to time. And then you began to open yourself up to say yes. I always talk about the power of yes,
Yes.
right? You may not have it all figured out. There may be some things that you're not sure how it's all going to work out, but like something about the power to say yes can really
Yes.
open you up to
Yeah.
opportunities. So what type of work were you doing, whether it's counseling or mindset work, were you doing to help you move from that fixed mindset to that abundance mindset?
Yeah. So I see a lot of things in my clients, and as we as therapists and coaches help other people, they
Yeah.
also, help
Yeah.
us. And so I am, generally I'm open, period. But
Yes.
if we don't know, then we don't know.
Yes.
But then once you learn something and then you have a responsibility.
Okay, you got to repeat that and you got to point to that because that's a big gem.
Yes. Once you know something or you've learned something, you have a responsibility to act on that thing.
That's good. That's good.
And so I took action. So I was able to take action.
So how do you help your clients take action in like some like super like simple tangible ways to begin shifting that mindset? Because like what I say in the community, I say I help people to label their fixed mindsets. Some people named it Frank. I remember one of our clients, she named it Messy
Frank.
Maya. You remember that? We like name your negative mindset, and the fact that it's been employed your entire life,
yeah.
it's going to take a moment to like help it to retire.
Yeah.
So what
yeah.
are some of these like small things someone can do to begin making that shift?
Know your whys, increase your whys. I think like having multiple whys helps.
Yes.
Be aware of what you're thinking and feeling and all those limitations. You got to be aware of it, because if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
So you said it, labels. Labels are very important. People say, oh, don't label it. No, label it.
Yeah.
You have to label it because we have to know. It reminds me of someone saying, oh, God knows. Or gotta fix it. He knows my heart. And I'm like, he knows, but do you know?
Ooh.
So he wants you to know and you to confess,
Yes.
those things
Yeah.
for change and stuff. You don't develop and grow until you're able to acknowledge what's going on. Like, what's the
Yes.
problem? What's the real problem?
Yes.
Same with therapy, same with coaching. Like,
That's
what are we
good.
working on? What is there to work on? So the labels are very helpful.
Yeah.
And so labeling, what is it? Okay, it's fear. Why is fear there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fear is there because of,
Yes.
I'm afraid I'm going to lose this money.
yes, because I didn't grow up with a
Yeah,
lot, and I
yeah.
really want to make sure I don't lose it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fear is there because I don't know if I'm making the right decision. now the whys come up, okay? Well, I labeled it as fear. Does fear belong here? No. I'm a believer, so I'm going to tell you a scripture that helps me. 1 Timothy 1:7. For God have not given you the spirit of fear, but power, love, and sound judgment.
That's good.
Okay?
That's
and
good.
so fear is not something, it's something that we can acknowledge, but it's not a gift.
Yes.
You know, it's not something that we hold.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it so you can know where it is and you let it go.
Yes.
What do I do with this?
It helps you to recognize that you're human and that you have emotions, but it should not drive you.
Absolutely.
It should not be in a driver's seat.
Absolutely.
And for so many of us, it's in the driver's seat and it's
Absolutely.
fully driving us around.
Oh, girl.
Like fully.
Yes.
It's becoming like a stronghold
Yes.
for some people.
Yes.
So we were on a hike, and it was something I learned from you. Just being around you, I learned so much from you. I don't even know if you know I be picking stuff up. And especially as a woman, and we're doing so much for everyone else, and you are teaching me how to be present. And so you did want to talk about how, like, you were on our walk, you kept saying, like, okay, let's stop. And how can we begin being present for free, right?
Yeah.
Without having to go on vacations and do all the things in our
Absolutely.
everyday life. What can we start doing to be present so we can be aware with how we even feel? Because some of us, we don't even know how we feel.
Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of chatter in our heads, and sometimes we need to decrease the chatter.
Yes.
And one of the ways to even develop a growth mindset is to decrease the chatter by being mindful. And so when you practice mindfulness, it's being present in that moment. And we were together, you was walking and you was going and stuff. And I was like, wait, do you see that lake over there? Isn't that beautiful? And you was like, oh yeah, it is beautiful. But when we ground ourselves and we're like, okay, I'm here, wow, and we actually close the noise down, shut the noise down a little bit in our heads, we're able to be in the moment and free up space. Yeah. And that is so helpful for our development. That's something that we should practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is that helpful for us?
Well, it allows you to think rationally and logically.
Oh, that's good. You know? That's important.
Yeah, and so it's not just acknowledging, it's not just labeling and acknowledging those feelings, but it's also being able to let that frontal lobe, come and take charge, activate to have you think logically and rationally. And you do that with adding alternatives, like questioning yourself, challenging yourself, like, okay, I feel the fear. Okay, like I just want to go, I'm on a task, and it's like, okay, we need to pause. We need to pause. We need to be mindful. I need to have that mind-body connection to see where I really am, because this is what I came here for. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Because fear is meant to, like, protect us from, like, physical harm. Yes. Right. But sometimes anytime we're doing something new that we haven't done before, it is common to be afraid.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So what tips could you give for people that are literally, like, having a hard time? They're like, okay, I will wait to invest in real estate. I'll wait to, like, really jump on my journey. I need to focus on getting some more knowledge, or, they get to that because they get afraid, and they have this kind of expectation that the fear is going to go away in order for them to take the leap. Yeah. Did it go away for you? Did it go away before you started moving?
Before I started moving?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No. You move in spite of. You move in spite of, and know that you're not alone when you're moving. Yeah. Like I called you, or text you within boundaries, you know. Yes. We respect each other. Yes. We do. And so I was able to do that. But the thing is, stress. So when you're stressed or anxious about something, it's like, what is the truth about what I'm feeling? I'm feeling fear. Yeah. And so now that I've put a label on it and I acknowledge that it's actually fear, it's like, okay, so what do I do with this fear? Now, stress isn't all bad, because if we're taking a test or something like that and we're a little stressed, it allows us to prepare. Yes. Right? Yes. And so acknowledging fear, I'm able to be like, okay, this is the truth in what I'm feeling right now, but it doesn't have to be my reality or my future.
Yeah.
You know? Because the other truth is, oh, I know an investor.
Yes.
I know a real
Yes.
estate agent.
Yes.
Oh, Google's here.
Yes.
You know, I
Yes.
can
All these
ask
resources
for help. And so what fear does, the acknowledgement of it, allows for you to seek the resources that you need and ask for help.
Yeah.
And so whether that's real estate or whatever you're doing, whether
Yeah.
it's real estate, whether it's depression, anxiety, whether it's, I want to, something that you do that I love. You can go hiking alone. I'm still trying to get there. So I'm not perfect either.
Right.
'Cause deer are out there.
and snakes and all kind of other stuff.
Now I could go with
Yes.
someone else, but you remember when we were talking about that and I was
Yeah.
like, wait, in your neighborhood, you go by yourself?
Yeah.
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. You was like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Like I am trying to
Yeah.
get there. And so I've asked myself, okay, don't think about limitations. How can you?
Yes.
What can I do? And so I purchased pepper spray. Oh, please don't get me. I'm not trying to hurt the animals or anything like that.
Don't come for her.
No, I was pepper spray and I got like this taser thing in case like I'm a black woman.
Yeah.
And so I know the dangers out there in the world.
Yes.
And so I don't go running in the middle of the night and stuff like that. And so even though it could be very peaceful.
Yes. Yes.
But because of that, I'm like, I'm very highly alert. And so I'm
Yes.
like, if someone is like running up on me or whatnot, I have my protection. So when
You
I
equip
have
yourself.
gone, yes, I
Yes.
equip myself. And so I carry it in my pocket. I never have to use it or anything like that. But that's helped me to be able, not a full hike,
Yes.
but start somewhere.
I love that.
And baby steps are good.
It reminds me of how, like, I help my clients when they're beginning to invest. I help them to come up with a best case scenario plan and a
Yes.
worst case scenario
Yes.
plan. So it's like, okay, like, let me help you, teach you how to hike, but also let me give you some
Yeah.
tools that you can tap into in case you
Absolutely.
need it, and how that's so important.
Absolutely. The biggest tool, if you are in a scarcity mindset or you just feeling stuck, a lot
Yeah.
of people come to me because they're feeling stuck. I forgot to mention that, but
That's
you're
good.
feeling stuck. And so if you're feeling stuck, one of the things you can ask yourself is, who's holding me down? And you realize, it's me.
Yeah.
What's the holdup? Like you want to do something, you want to do a podcast. And
Yeah.
you haven't done the podcast. So what's the holdup? Why can't you do the podcast? I think the holdup is me.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're able to acknowledge that, then you kind of, you move forward.
Yeah.
In that.
I love that. And that just reminds me of like your individual story. Like whenever you guys got on the same page and y'all did the individual work, it was specifically real estate investing, and then you guys decided to invest in mentorship with me. And I really appreciate that because you're friends.
Yeah.
And so you know that I would give you advice anyways, but I always appreciate it even more when like friends like actually pay for like my advice, because enjoy my programs, because it really shows how you value what I do.
Of course.
And then so real quick, tell us, you joined the program, and then how did everything change, and how fast did everything change?
Fast.
So you went from wanting to invest how long?
90 days, less than 90 days actually.
Wow.
Yeah, my husband came up with this plan.
Yeah.
So I'm the whimsical,
Yes,
free
yes.
spirit, and he is definitely a lot more structured.
Yes.
We all have areas of where we're fixed or limited belief. And so it was like he had a different area than I had. And so when I was ready, I was ready.
Yes.
I was ready. And so he came up with this plan, and man,
Yeah.
we was getting a HELOC.
Yes.
And
You closed in
buying
like
a
2 weeks.
house.
I was like, oh wow, you already closed?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was swift, but you know what was helpful? Team. You guys did a remarkable job because we weren't alone in it. I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it would be that soon. It was like almost too quick for me. I was like, oh my gosh. The day that we actually closed on the HELOC, they were like, we had to put in the application for the new house that we purchased.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
so
amazing.
everything happened really quick.
Yeah. So you have been wanting to invest for a while, and then you joined the program, and in 90 days, they went from 1 to 3 units, like fast.
Yeah.
And it's been a journey, like throughout the time.
absolutely.
But how has, how has not only just, your net worth through real estate changed, but what other ways have changed in your life and your family by applying these same principles in your personal life?
So,
Because y'all are some success stories.
Yeah.
I brag on y'all all the time, okay?
so my husband, he does videography.
He's brilliant, by the way.
graphic, just wrote a book,
Yes.
all of that. So our girls were in charter school. We decided that it was time to take them out, and he wanted to teach them. And so he resigned from his job. So he went from like partner to manager, all of this, and
Yes.
decided we were just going to do it.
Yes.
We were going to take the leap.
Yes.
Yes, and so we
I love
took
that.
the leap. He resigned. We now homeschool our children.
Yes. And Dave
We,
is the
as in
primary
him-
homeschool parent,
Yeah.
right? He says that too.
Yes, and
love
people
that.
think it's me. And I'm like, he's capable
Yes.
of doing this. David
Yes.
used to be a teacher too. Not that you need to be,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I help out with some things, but
Yes.
he's like, you go out there, you fulfill your dreams.
Yes.
You help people, which is what I love to do.
Yes.
And I'm going to do this.
I love
so
that.
he does freelance and other stuff as well, but
Yeah.
we're able to travel. I went home for almost a month, 3
Wow.
weeks
That's
during
amazing.
Christmas.
Yes. I love it.
And it was beautiful. It was
Yes.
beautiful because the dream is to be able to world school.
Yes.
And now
I
it's like
love
we're
that.
so, like we're closer to that.
Yeah.
I want to take my family to Europe
I love that.
where we want to stay for 3-4 weeks.
Mhm.
The
In the
whole-
middle of October,
Yeah.
if you want to.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to pay for our parents. Everybody else that want to come, they can come. They have somewhere to live, but
Yes. Yes.
But we want to pay for our parents as like a thank you for them to come as well.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, so we're planning, we're planning from that. Airbnb, we know how to maneuver.
Yeah.
All of your examples have been helpful. I told you before, you are definitely an inspiration
Thank you.
to me, and I think that the people you love and the people that inspire you, you want to give to them, and you want to
Yes.
say,
Yes.
thank you. So it
Aw,
was,
thank you.
yeah. So the holdup wasn't, you. The holdup was us, but we still 100% believe in you, and I still do now.
Yeah.
And so I'm like a cheerleader, like,
Yeah, I
girl,
know
do
you
it.
are. Wow.
I'm not gonna tell what you said, but one day
Yeah.
I remember you were thinking about purchasing something, and you was like, what you think? You might have put it on Instagram or something like that. He was like, what you think? I was like, do it. He
Yes.
was like, what about if people think this?
Yes.
People gonna think what they want to
They
think
gonna
anyway.
think what they think anyways.
You earned it.
Yes,
And
yes.
so do it.
I think I remember this.
Yay.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for being an encouragement to me too. No, I just love how through real estate, like so much has been able to change for
Yes.
your family, and you both have other endeavors that you love to pursue. I think you guys are great examples that you can invest in real estate, but you can leverage it in other ways. Because so many people they see me and they're like, oh, you're an agent, you do all these things, you have to go that route. Like, no, there's
Yes.
so many different routes that you can take to be able to build wealth. And now you guys are doing what God's calling you to do. I love the book that you guys have coming out. And just so many amazing things. And so thinking about this, what are some ways you have also helped your clients through the work that you've done with them really be able to help them get to the next level in their life?
So listening is very important. So I gave them space, a safe space for them to be able to like explore and believe and hope. Shout out to my practice, Safe Hope. But but it's called Safe Hope for a reason, because even like real estate is like, oh, can I think this? Is it safe for me to believe that I can do this? If it's safe for me to believe that I can ask for a raise, if it's safe enough for me to believe that, oh, I can say yes to this TV deal or whatnot,
Yes.
or run these Airbnbs.
Yes,
And
yes.
ask for this amount because I believe this is what it's worth.
Yes.
If
yes.
it's safe enough for me to raise my prices when I needed to, absolutely. Why?
Yes.
because it's, you know, you're worth
Right.
it, and you know, like, what you're going to give back to people.
Yes, and that's so
Yes.
good. And I love that you've been able to help your clients do that. Okay, now I want to talk about how exposure is so important in the belief process. What role does being exposed to other people that look like you, that are doing what you are trying to do, how important is that in the belief process?
It's important. It's important. I understand, like, if you don't have it, do it anyway.
Yeah.
But man, support, when you have support and
Yeah.
you have networking, it just takes you further, and you don't
Yes.
feel. So you asked me something, what's another common thing or common factors that I see in counseling, and a part of that is loneliness.
I heard recently, like, loneliness is, it was like, especially like post-pandemic, it's like
Yeah.
one of the, I sent out a email about this recently. It's like one of the number one, like, indications of, like, depression or something like that is loneliness.
Absolutely. And you know what else? If you have a fixed mindset, that typically leads to depression as well.
Wow.
Yeah, this is why we should kind of control, like,
Yeah.
our thoughts and stuff, acknowledge it and let it go. So we talked about networks and all of that. The other thing is, again, a safe space.
Yes.
It's like, okay, when you see somebody that looks like you, you're like, oh, it's possible. So, and you would think that that wasn't important
Yeah.
once you reach a level of success, but that's not true. Like,
Yeah.
I work with high achieving and high profile people that obviously I can't name, but I coach them, and one of their things is, a couple of them say, man, I wish I had people on my team that look like me. Because you need to be able to kind of relate,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
you want to be able to be like, I just need to share this, or I need to share
Yes.
this fear, or I want to
Yes.
share, like, this hope and dream, and I want you to be like, girl, you
Yes,
know,
yes.
you can kind of do it, and it's a different kind of climb.
That's
It's
good.
a different challenge, and it's a different climb, and I realized that early on in therapy, it was like, I'm a Christian. I'm black. I'm a woman.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I am.
And you're very, like, bold and,
Yeah.
you know, not shy and, you know, vivacious. And
I'm assertive.
Yes.
And I had to teach, like, assertiveness doesn't mean aggression.
Yes.
We are meant to be assertive. Assertiveness is the ability to ask for what you want or you need, or what you need.
Right.
And so being in spaces where I can do that is like, oh, it kind of frees you a little bit.
It
And I'm
does.
like, oh, I can own my power and
Yes.
it be okay.
Yes.
That's important, because that means that I can help so many more people that need me and want me. Like, people
Yeah.
say that I am empathetic. They say, oh, you see me. You know how do you know? How many people say, oh, I feel seen? Like, that is like, yes, because
Yes.
I aim to create a corrective emotional experience for people.
That's so good.
And
That's
it's
so
like,
good.
but you can get that. Like, they're comfortable with me.
Yes.
The men, black men choose to see me.
Yeah, they do.
I did a whole group before.
Yes.
And because it's like, oh, I'm like a homegirl therapist.
Yeah.
You know?
And it makes it easier to talk to you.
Yes,
That's
absolutely,
so good.
absolutely.
So you mentioned, like, being seen and feeling seen and creating these, like, emotional spaces. That's one of the things that I feel personally called to within the Owning and Living It
Yes.
community, is creating these in-person events and times that helps to foster connection between Black and brown people. And I know, like, for example, you attended our retreat last year in David. So can you talk to me about how that experience in person was different than maybe other experiences that you've, you know, been to in the majority context?
Yes. So we cannot do this alone.
Yeah.
No matter what your field is,
Right.
we can't do it alone. We need support and we need people, and it's so important to find your tribe or people, like, doing the
Yes.
same stuff or in a
Yes.
similar area that you're in. And man, the reason why I chose to go to both of them
Yes.
is because we needed the support and love. And Early on, when that
And Deanna's gonna be honest too, okay? She ain't the kind of person that's gonna say what I want, so she's gonna be honest.
You know,
yes.
when that call it movie money or whatever
Yes.
came in, I was like, why you in my pocket? Why
Yes.
you counting my coins? Rumors out there, like,
Yeah.
oh, I heard you made $1 million. Where you hear that from? Oh, please, if I did, like, send it to
We
me.
welcome that.
We welcome that, but that wasn't the case, and it was like, well, I can't, because people don't understand this real estate process.
Yeah.
It looks easy, but it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
But it's like, we know our whys, and
Yeah.
it's good to have other people walking alongside of you where you can call.
Yes.
You can ask we ask questions more. My
Yes.
husband, but on the Facebook group
Yes.
that you have,
Get
where you can kind of
resources.
meet up, all of that, and you can be like, okay, me too. I've dealt with this, or oh, do this with your Airbnb,
Yes.
or oh, this contractor, you know,
Yes.
over here, and you feel less lonely during the process, because
Yeah.
anything you start in the beginning is going to be a challenge, but that's okay.
Right.
You can't make it to the top of the mountain without
Yes.
a hike, right?
Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, what I love, I don't know if you've experienced this too, but I love these spaces that is, you don't feel, especially specifically as Black women, when people start finding out like what you do and like what you own, they're like, really?
Oh, yes.
Being underestimated.
Yes.
But it's almost like it's normalized
Yes.
within our group.
Yes.
And that creates the safe space.
Yes.
By not feeling underestimated.
We're not gonna talk about my neighbor in case she watching this, but but when I tell you we was moving, well, we gonna talk about my neighbor.
Go ahead.
But when
Hey, neighbor.
when I tell you, my neighbor sees everything, and I love her because she also like,
Yes,
hey,
she
you know
look out.
somebody out there parked on your grass? I'm like, what? Yes, parked
Yes.
on my grass.
Oh, wow.
And my house is on a hill in the
Oof,
West End. So
that's
I'm
crazy.
like, what? They parked on my grass. She's
Right.
like, I don't know if you want that to happen. I was like, thanks for letting me know.
Right.
But a part of it, like when we moved and we were transitioning and moving out, because we got that house so quick, it was quick for the neighbors and people around too, and family. They want to know what's happening, how you doing
How
this,
you doing that?
what you got and stuff. And then you kind of get quiet or you shy back because it's uncomfortable. And it's like, I don't know who to share what with.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily at first, it doesn't feel safe and people don't understand.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then people start to judge a little bit. So
Yeah.
my neighbor was like, where are you going? So what what school are your children going to go to?
Yeah.
You homeschooling? Why are you doing that? You know, it was
Yeah.
just so many questions because obviously she's of a different nationality, but
Yeah.
because she couldn't, like her mind, she couldn't grasp like, how are we moving? Why are we not selling this house? How are we keeping the house? And
How are they
we
able to
moving?
afford that, do that, make those
Absolutely.
moves? Because they kind of put you in this box
Absolutely.
that they created, and they're confused on how you're
Absolutely.
breaking out of it.
But they don't know what God is doing in your life.
That's
They
good.
don't know like how hard you're working.
Yeah.
They don't know like
Yeah.
anything, like even the car. We pulled in the car. She was like, "Oh, I've always wanted a car like that. Why you?"
Wow.
And then made assumptions about
Yeah.
the car that God blessed us with.
Yeah.
But you know, they don't know.
And you got to be careful
Oh,
because
yes.
some people have like a jealous spirit out there. You know, I've ran into that situation too, and it was hard for me because I'm used to like just sharing and giving, and that's what we do. Like we're
Yeah.
just like, hey, I learned this, and you tell me you learned this, and we just have such a sharing personality.
Yes.
But every now and then, God brings me back to like everybody ain't like you.
Yeah. And everybody's
Right.
not for
And
you.
so I recognized that one time after I caught this person in a lie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I was like, oh, hold on, let me pump the brakes. This is not a safe space.
Yes, yes.
And so that's why it's
Yes.
important for me to create safe spaces. I understand that when people are coming within this community, that they could be some of the only people in their lives that are doing something different. And so it's really important to me for them to come and not have to worry about anything,
Yes.
and for things to just be taken care of.
Yes, you
And that's
said
really important.
safe space. This isn't a safe space because you think somebody is kind of for you. You could be dining with them.
Yeah.
And you know what I thought of?
What?
Proverbs, I believe it's 27:3. I think, or maybe Proverbs 23:7, I believe. And I believe it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And what they're talking about like that, they were talking about if you're going to dine with a stingy man or something, and you're feasting and you're thinking, oh, this is great. He's glad I'm here and stuff, you know?
Right.
But no, he's counting how much all of this is costing him, you being there. And so it's like, you know, you dropping nuggets and dropping information and all that, and thinking that you are experiencing something good, and then realize, oh wow, like I wasn't experiencing anything good because his heart, his intentions aren't pure. You know.
Wow. That's so good. And it'll come out. If you ask God to reveal it to you, He's gonna show you. It's gonna come out.
But there are some very good people out there too.
So many. I found that there are way more really good people out there than it is that are not that are not good. And there are a lot of people who have a lot of hurt from previous people, and they have a hard time like opening themselves back up. Do you have any advice to give to people who may be in that situation? They've been hurt by friends, they've been hurt by people talking behind their back. How do they begin to be open again?
Be honest with yourself. Deal with the trauma. Figure out, before you deal with the trauma, a part of it is figuring out what your trigger actually is. Is it a thing? Is it a person? Is it a particular thing that they said to you? Where is that coming from? You know, and when you find out like the root, oh, this is coming from like when I was 7 or when I was 14, such and such said this. So it may not necessarily be the person, but the memory of what happened to me. That's why therapy is also very important, because of the why. When we know why, we're able to like fix it. And then coaching is also valuable, important, especially mindset coaching. Because what it does is it's like, okay, let's look at these limited beliefs. Let's see how you're thinking. What's your worldview like? And let me help you alter or change your perspective. Look at it at this angle. What else could be going on? And so maybe that friend is struggling and doesn't know how to be a friend. What do we do with that? You know, do we use compassion? We can try. And when we start, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to start. But then there are some healthy, appropriate boundaries that we need to put up. So we have to ask, is this a good relationship for me? Is this fruitful? Is this healthy for me in this season that I am? I think I've told you this before. I've learned a couple years ago, maybe a little bit more longer than that, but I've learned to see everybody as a gift. Remember you talking about that? I see everybody as a gift. So even if someone does me wrong, or not, or doesn't meet my unspoken expectation, it is still a gift. They are still a gift to me, because I don't see failure as, okay, I fell, but this is a challenge. This is a learning opportunity for me. You showed me something. You taught me something, not just about you, but you taught me something about me. And now I know what I need. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know what I need. I know what type of friendships and relationships that, you know, that bring me joy and peace. And that's okay. Everybody is not meant to be with you, but you have
for
to,
your whole life.
You have to like be honest about yourself, honest about where the space that you're in and where you're at and what you need.
Oh, that's so good. Like, I see this show up in so many different ways in real estate. I see people who are out there, they're investing and they're trying to figure it out, but because they have so much trauma from relationships, they are struggling asking for advice. They're struggling asking for referrals. They are just really they're really isolating themselves, which leads to things being so much harder. They say things like, all agents are bad. I can't find any good real estate agents. They say things like that. And it's really a sign that somebody hurt you, someone let you down, and you got stuck. And how can we learn from that so that we can release them and move forward, so that we can stay open to say yes. And then even staying open, because like we may be in a situation where you are lonely and you desire more community, but you don't want to leave your house. I don't know how that works. You don't want to leave your house, right? Because of some situation that happened, right? That probably wasn't even about you. It was probably them just having a bad day, honestly. And I just struggle because I'm like, listen, sis, we want the same things, but you have to like open yourself up to say yes, because you opened yourself up to say yes, and the next week you had like one of the biggest opportunities that you had.
Praise the Lord.
Yes, exactly.
And
that
girl,
changed everything.
They doubled it too.
Oh.
Yes.
It's so good.
It changed everything.
Changed everything.
That was an investment into you as well and into my future.
Which now everything has changed.
Everything has changed.
Your life is like so different now. So and it starts with that mindset of being open to say yes.
Yeah, like everyone's not going to fail you. In order to get what you need, it's like, okay, hurt people, right?
Yes.
But hurt people. But you also need people to heal.
Yes.
And so realizing that you actually need help, you need support, you need people. And it's like, okay, it's not guaranteed, but let me step out here again and let me this is why mindfulness is helpful too. Let me be present in this moment.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's a gift.
Yes.
So if I meet a stranger and I might not even know their name, and we had a good time. That was a beautiful time. And the Lord showed me something through that. And that could be what it is.
Yeah. And that's amazing.
It's a gift.
That's living to me. That's living.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. That's living.
So I use something that might be helpful. Like sometimes the brain. And I think we talked about this before, but it is the brain's job to protect you.
Yes.
Right? And so the brain is going to remind you of threats. Remember this, all of that.
Remember
and
that
so,
happened to you,
remember
and
that
happened to you, and that hurt real bad.
Absolutely. So things are going to feel like the same or familiar.
Yeah.
But they're not the same. And so just because a different realtor, I kind of changed realtors, right? Just because a different realtor did X, Y, and Z, or did something to you, or misled you, or wasn't genuine with you, doesn't mean that all realtors are going to do that same thing.
Yes.
And so that's when you talk to yourself and you say, okay, well, this happened. Now I know, and now I know what to look out for.
Yes.
We had terrible contractors, you know that. But did we stop?
Nope.
No.
Right.
We kept going until we found good contractors.
Yes.
You know why? Because it needs to get done, and everybody is not the same.
Yes.
That's what we have to do. It takes time, but it's okay to practice, and it's okay to feel like, oh man, I made a mistake again. But that's fine.
How can I learn
now
from this?
Now I can learn from it.
Yeah, and that's a theme that you're gonna hear more and more. The more you watch this podcast, the more you stay involved. Is we don't look at failures as failures; we look at them as lessons.
Absolutely. And when you're about to jump off the cliff or take that risk, which is great, take the leap.
Yes.
Take the leap.
Do it scared anyway.
Do it.
Yes.
When you're doing it, if your amygdala hijacks you, that's when the emotion side of your brain, you go into fight or flight, and it's like, oh, my nervous system, oh, this is happening or whatnot. If that happens, there's a way to calm that down. You can emotionally regulate. And so that's what I teach people how to do too, emotionally regulate. Yeah. Breathing. Breathing is not overrated, people.
Yeah,
it really isn't. A diaphragmatic breath, like this happened to me Friday. Just Friday. Girl, I had to regulate like 4 times Friday. But I was somewhere, it was a lot of people, it was a big conference, and we didn't know where to go, and other stuff. Real estate stuff, other stuff was just happening. And I couldn't allow my emotions to take hold of me and get me stuck.
Wow.
Because when we're like that, then we can't act quickly. We can't think about like rational, logical solutions, you know? And so what I did was something that I call PB&J.
Okay. PB and what? PB&J?
Yes, PB&J. Okay. So what do you think about when you
peanut butter and jelly?
Yes. And what about peanut butter and jelly?
Put it on the sandwich.
And what else? What is it?
Oh, what you mean? It's a sandwich.
What are some adjectives of peanut butter and jelly?
It's crunchy, maybe it's sweet. The
peanut butter is smooth.
Yes.
A little bit sticky too sometimes. So that's what I use to help me. I do a PB&J, and so not a sandwich, but I just kind of use that. P is pause. B is breathe. So it's pause and breathe in the moment. It's like, oh, okay. I'm pausing, I'm breathing, right?
Yeah.
I'm judging and I'm adjusting. Yeah, I know there's no A, but I do the J and the A together because things are going to feel sticky, but they're also like, if you do that, the sweetness is on the other side.
Yeah.
And so
good.
I use PB&J a lot, my kids and husband as
love
well.
that.
So they know that. And so you pause and breathe, you judge and you adjust. And so when you're pausing and breathing, Friday I paused and breathed because there was a lot of chaos and I couldn't reach myself, Erica. I was like, and I couldn't reach myself, and I felt the tears and everything, and it felt like it was closing in on me, you know, because I do suffer from anxiety. Is not always the elimination of something, but the management, and I'm able to control it and manage it and do that. So I use my own skills and tools, you know,
like they work. I use them.
I use them. And so I couldn't breathe. So I found a space. Like once everybody left, I found a space that was a private space. I closed my eyes. I breathed. It was very quickly. I closed my eyes. I breathed. And when I breathed, I couldn't allow it to flow through me. It got stuck right here at the top of my stomach. It was pain. And I did it again, and it was pain. And I was like, why is it hurting when I'm trying to breathe?
Yeah.
And the third time when I did it, I went like this, and I was like, and I breathed and I said, this is anxiety. The anxiety is causing me pain.
Yeah.
And so I labeled it.
Yeah.
You know, because you could do it so quick and you're following steps. So I labeled it and I said, this pain is coming from anxiety. The anxiety is causing me pain. I put 4 fingers here. I pressed in and I said, I got you. I got you. And it was like tears were there.
It's like a release.
Yes, I acknowledged it. And once you acknowledge it and I breathed, no pain. I lie to you not. No
She's
pain.
good, y'all.
No
She's
pain.
good.
No pain.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, and so what I did, I grounded myself. I was able to emotionally regulate. And then my breath became like slower. And I was like, okay, I'm here. This is safe.
That's good.
I'm safe. So that I got you and pressing in, the pain was gone.
Wow.
And I was able to breathe, and I was like, okay, you're safe. What's happening? Oh, these people are doing this. Everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
Everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
And I
that's
talk to
so
myself
good.
after that.
I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah.
I struggle with worry, and one of the things I've been telling myself, worrying is worshiping the problem, and it doesn't change anything.
Yes.
And so it's like talking to yourself to help yourself overcome that
Absolutely.
and move forward.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, this has been such an amazing conversation. If you are out there and you are really trying to figure out how do I improve my mindset, you know, like your mindset is holding you back. And if you have that fixed mindset or what we call scarcity mindset, I actually have a really good tool for you. You can actually go to my resource library. I'm going to tag it in the notes. And I have a 10-step scarcity mindset checklist, which is crazy.
Yes.
And a part of the checklist is I actually walk you through 10 steps, pause, breathe. I know, I didn't even know this. And so I actually help you. I have clients that print it out and they just put it on their, right by their computer and they tap into it to help remind them how to move from fixed mindset into abundance. Okay.
Yes.
So if people want to connect with you from here, how do they find you and how do they connect with you?
My website is safehopecounseling.com. So feel free to go to my website. Also, I'm on Instagram at safehopeatl. And I have Facebook. I'm not on there a lot, but I still use it. So the Facebook one is Safe Hope Counseling.
Also, as a licensed, like what states can you help folks that on the counseling side, and then who can you help on the mindset coaching side? I think that's important.
That's good because that's a difference between therapy and coaching as well. So I am licensed only in the state of Georgia. There are some therapists that are licensed in multiple states.
Yes.
I'm not.
Yes.
But because I wanted to help more people, I became a coach.
Yes.
And so I can only see Georgia residents for therapy.
Yes.
But what I do is I offer discovery calls. And the discovery calls is 45 minutes with me. And it's really no risk.
Yeah.
So you pay for it, which is a small fee. It's 45 minutes. And then we look at what the problem is in ways that I can help you get to a different mindset or overcome the challenge. And we look at goals.
Yes.
So we get it started there. So we start on some things, and then we also look at what's going to be the better fit for you, therapy or coaching. And so I use coaching to see out-of-state clients.
Yes.
So I'm about half and half.
Yes.
So, and I do telehealth as well, and I
Nice.
also have an office where I do in person. I offer VIP sessions, and so like I said, I see.
What's a VIP session?
A VIP session is an intensive.
Okay.
That's short. Like it's basically an intensive, and it's where you have a personalized plan. Because I don't do cookie cutter stuff.
Yes.
I don't do Band-Aids.
Yes.
Like we going in.
Yes.
And so you have a personalized plan, you know, that we look at and we go through and we accomplish
Yes.
that day. And so it starts from anywhere from 3 hours to 5 to 8 hours.
Nice.
So yes. So my last VIP session went great.
Yes.
You know, they flew in and we were able to meet.
I
and
love
we
that.
had a wonderful time. We went to lunch.
Yes.
All of that.
The
And
VIP
yes.
days are great. I offer
Yeah,
that for my
you
clients
accomplish
too.
more.
Yeah, and you really are able to like streamline like years worth of information into like
Absolutely.
one day, which is amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. This is
Thank you
such a
for
great,
having me.
important
Oh,
episode, and I love that you do it, you apply it, you
Yes.
invest. Like I feel like we got a
Yes.
chance to see the full circle with your
Yes.
story. And thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you can, go ahead and give me a 5-star review, comment, subscribe if you are watching this from YouTube, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much. Hey friend, have you been enjoying this podcast and you're like, okay, Erica, how can I connect with you and other of your amazing guests that are on the podcast? You can do that within the Owning It and Living It Facebook group. I have the Owning It and Living It Facebook group to help to foster community with other like-minded real estate investors. Folks are sharing advice, I'm sharing tips, and we're fostering community so we can help take our real estate investments to the next level. If you are ready to do that, I want you to join the Owning It and Living It Facebook group. You can go to the link in the bio to join today.